I, I don't have that problem. Oh, hi, fans of the Monday Movie Club. All you fans who come to see me.
All two of them.
Okay, this week Amy chose The Taking of Pelham 123 from 1974. So this is the 50th anniversary of this movie, and it's number 1894 on the Franken list. I'm Frank Gaffney. Oh, Mr. Pink. With us, Mr. Purple, not Barney Purple.
Correct.
Mark Wotitz Gartner, Mr. Colorblind. He really is colorblind.
True.
And Mr. Tabby and Miss Gold, man. And Ms. Yellow, politically incorrect, right there. Amy, why The Taking of Pelham 123? You weren't in Stanford yet.
No, I definitely didn't see this when I was 8 years old in the theater. I don't know when I saw it. I was a young adult, I would say, but as a lifelong Walter Matthau fan since childhood, I assume that's the reason I watched this movie the first time.
I said that when I was watching it. I was like, Amy, I think Danielle actually said the words, Amy has a hard-on for Walter Matthau.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So
because he's a New Yorker.
Yeah. He's such a New Yorker.
Yeah.
And, you know, Bad News Bears and Sunshine Boys and all. Anyway, so I remember absolutely loving it, especially the very final seconds of the movie made me go, and then the way it just goes to black. It was just, I just loved it. I loved the script. So
all right, you're getting ahead of yourself.
Well, I was just about to stop right there.
Okay, good. Well, here's the plot. A group of criminals led by Mr. Blue, Robert Shaw, hijack a New York City subway car and the 18 passengers on it for $1 million ransom. They have 1 hour to give them the money, or they're going to shoot one person for every minute they're late, right? Based on a book, as very, very, I did not remember that the 123 in the title was the number of the train. I thought it was the number of the train. It's the Pelham 123. No, it's the time that the train leaves the station, 123. So it's the 123. I thought that was interesting. It was directed by Joseph Sargent, who later did a lot of TV, movies and miniseries for TV. Adapted from the book by Peter Stone. Yes, that Peter Stone.
Peter Stone.
Yeah, who wrote 1776, which we love. And so I'm just reading my notes from when I was watching the movie. I totally remember Martin Balsam having the cold. I'm like, oh, yeah. And James Broderick and Matthew's father. He's the train conductor. I'm like, oh, how funny. And Jerry Stiller. Was this his first real role? Is this his first real role in a movie?
I don't know.
I didn't know he was an actor. And
it was fun having him and Doris Roberts in the same movie together.
Right?
Yes.
And seeing Hector Elizondo at 38 years old, I'm like, oh my gosh. He was young.
I did not recognize him for the first half of the movie, by the way.
Yeah. He was so young. It was weird.
And you shouldn't have recognized Earl Hindman.
Right, Earl Hindman, because of the
oh, I didn't even think of that. That's
who is he?
Is the fourth
No, I know. Who is what else has he done?
He was on
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. He was the neighbor.
Oh my God, I had no idea. Okay.
No, I didn't notice that at all.
That's great.
And then was his name? The whole segment touring the Japanese people and thinking they don't know English. Oh my God.
I have a note on that.
This way, you dummies.
He called them monkeys.
Monkeys.
Yeah. Oh, I thought he said dummies.
But he did. He did. Dummies and monkeys. Yeah.
Oh my God, so funny. And then his almost non-reaction to them speaking English was perfect.
His face was brilliant.
Yeah.
I have a note. I'm assuming in 1974 that was probably very funny.
Oh, hysterical.
Oh, it was funny in 2024.
Yeah. And Robert Shaw is great. And we talked, the other day about directors having a great run of movies. He was in The Sting last year, Taking a Pelham this year, and Jaws next year.
Yep.
So how's that for a great string?
And last year also he was in From Russia with Love.
Oh, right.
That's not a string of movies.
No, I meant 1973, 74, 75. That's
okay.
what I meant.
But since you bring up him being in From Russia with Love, does anybody know who the other Bond villain in this film is?
There's another Bond villain?
There's another Bond villain in this movie.
I don't know.
Julius Harris, who plays Teehee, the guy with the metal pincher claws in Live and Let Die, is the police captain on the platform. Captain,
Ah.
what his name?
Well,
But yeah.
well, isn't that obscure?
Yeah.
Okay. Walter Matthau, of course, is adorable. I laughed out loud when he said he could be a fruitcake.
Yeah.
And city cops are never around when you need them, because New York was in real trouble in 1974. And the guy who plays the mayor looks exactly like Ed Koch.
Yeah.
I'm sure they picked him.
Except Ed Koch, was not mayor at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
It was John Lindsay was
It
the
was
mayor.
Lindsay.
Oh, how funny. Didn't he look like Ed Koch?
Oh yeah.
He does resemble Ed Koch, but do you know what other film he played the mayor in?
Welcome to Trivia with Joel.
Batman.
He played the mayor in Batman in which version?
1989's Batman. He's
Oh,
the
okay.
mayor of Gotham City in when Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson are battling it out.
And the reason we have the Mr. Purple, Mr. Pink, because all of the criminals in this movie go by their code names, which is where Quentin Tarantino stole it for Reservoir Dogs. But he added, because there was only 4, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And
So in his version, there's 6. I think.
But that was fun for me to learn, because I thought Quentin had made that up.
Yeah. Yeah, I had no idea it was connected to this.
Yeah.
Technically, Peter Stone made it up because it's not in the book.
Oh, okay. Cute. And then the big reveal. One of the passengers on the train is a cop.
Danielle guessed that it was the drunk woman, and I thought that would have been fantastic, but it was too progressive for 1974. So
Yeah, great. I thought that would have been great.
Yeah.
Or the prostitute.
And then New York staple, Tony Roberts shows up.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And this is one of my complaints about current movies. In 1974, it was okay to be an actor who had crookedy teeth. Because now you don't see one person on the screen with crookedy teeth. Unless they're fake.
Or British.
We just lost our whole British audience.
We lost Nick a long time ago.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say.
Nick the
and the subway fare was only 35 cents.
And I did enjoy the actual bridge toll with 50 cents. You still owe me 50 cents.
Yeah.
Now, even I remember, like, there were some bridges even in the like when I was driving in the early 90s, it was still 50 cents.
Annie had a comment there.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that was one of my favorite lines is what do they expect for 35 cents to live forever?
That's right.
And what is it now?
$2.95.
$2.95. That still sounds very cheap. And Doris Roberts as the mayor's wife. She's 49 years old in this movie.
Wow.
And
I recognized her voice right away.
Yeah.
I think that's Everybody Loves Raymond's mom. That's
Yep.
yeah.
She had a nice little scene there telling the final line cracked me up too. You have 18 sure votes.
Oh my God, that was a great line. I almost put that in my notes.
Yeah. And then I thought of Amy, of course, when she said a regular Fiorella LaGuardia.
Yeah.
And oh my God, this was the oh my God PC moment of the movie when the black cop says, "I'm not all that easy to see in the dark."
Yeah.
I noticed that, yeah.
And also when Walter Matthau sees the cop in the car, he goes, "I thought you were
Shorter.
or something
Shorter,
shorter."
yeah.
That's not what he meant.
Yes.
Yes.
I caught that.
And that little pause, perfect timing.
Yeah.
And when they were bringing the money and the wreck, that was fabulous.
The montage.
Yeah. When they were bringing the money and the car flipped over.
Oh, the wreck. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. But so fun to see New York City in 1974, that they really filmed it there. I thought that was great. And then, of course, the big thing about train cars, which obviously I didn't know at the time, was that there was the dead man's feature. So if you died while you were doing the train, it would just stop. But of course, they go around them. And also, when they were filming, you could see all the spectators on the street watching them film the movie. But it looked like they were just gathering because it was a thing.
Yeah.
But they were totally just watching. And then the prostitute screaming out, There's nobody driving the fucking train. I don't know why it cracked me up.
I enjoyed by the way, if you looked at the IMDb, they're literally called The Prostitute.
Yep.
The homeless guy, the gay guy. When it's like
There was a gay guy.
Yeah.
I think that was
And
one
There
of
was
the-
credited a gay guy, and I was like, "Who's that?"
Yeah.
It's everyone who was on the train is the something person.
No, yeah. But who was the gay guy?
So was he called
See,
the
that's how
Jewish
nicely
guy?
we-
That guy? That
The Jewish guy, yeah,
Oh,
probably.
right, right.
guy? Yeah.
See how nicely we gays just blend in with normal people. And the 70s music.
Didn't this win a bunch of awards for the score?
Yeah.
And
David-
isn't it like AFI's top 50 scores or something?
Yep.
Music is fabulous.
Yeah, it's David.
But
It's,
so 70s, so
it's
70s.
well, it is, but it's David Shire doing jazz.
Oh, David Shire, right.
well, husband to Talia Shire.
Yeah.
And then, spoiler alert, Robert Shaw touching the third rail. I'm like,
Did not see that coming.
that was brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And
That
then,
really
of course-
affected me also in my memory when I first saw the movie.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, you can kill yourself on that third rail? Don't touch the third rail!
They had to
And
have
then,
the whole cast and crew had to have training sessions about that, because even though the electricity was shut off where they were shooting,
Right.
they didn't trust it, because you never knew
Right.
when somebody might flip a switch by accident.
right.
Makes sense.
And then you have fried meth out for breakfast.
Right.
And then, of course, I'm sure this was a huge laugh when the movie theater, when the drunk lady woke up and said, "Are we at 23rd Street already?" I'm sure. The 50 cents. I wrote that. And then Martin Balsam's apartment was like the set dresser on steroids, but it was so much like a New York apartment. Good Lord, Amy, you can relate.
It was the total cliche New York
Oh
apartment.
my God. Every place had something somewhere. It was so cramped, which was brilliant. But that chain lock was ridiculous. It was so wide, you could reach in, pull the thing off, and get in.
And I read in the trivia that it was actually backwards.
Yeah, because he took it off that anybody could have reached in and
Yeah.
would keep
True.
no one out. And then, of course, the most brilliant moment of the whole movie is after that sneeze and Walter Matthau looking back like,
How was that? I'm sorry. I saw
Oh
that
my
coming. As soon as they walked in, I was like, he's going to sneeze. He's going to sneeze. I knew it.
I know, but Walter Matthau's look was
It's more about his look and that it was the final shot. No more
I did
dialogue
appreciate it.
after that.
Just him looking in at the ending. I appreciated that.
I mean,
He knew
you
what was
have
gonna
you have to know, if you were sophisticated, mature and sophisticated, you would know from the minute the movie started, there has to be a reason why this guy keeps sneezing.
I said that. I was like, why does he keep sneezing? It's going to happen
No,
later on.
I'm
And then
sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry. In 1974, moviegoers did not think that way.
Oh, I totally agree.
But here's the other thing. Here's how brilliant that last shot is, since we're talking about it. They use the exact same last shot in the TV remake. And it's what's his face?
Danny.
Annie, help me with this. The actor.
Replace the Walter Matthau parts.
It's two of them. It's Lorraine Bracco and
Edward James.
Edward.
thank you, Edward James Olmos, doing the exact same thing, and it's like that does not work.
Did
At
he
all.
almost get it right?
No,
What do you mean?
not even close.
they tried to replicate it, but it came
Yeah.
off really bad.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm
How-
assuming that's how the book ended.
You know what? Here's the thing: is I read the book probably like 20 years ago, and I don't remember how the book ended, and I haven't finished it yet. So I'll let you know in a week.
Okay.
We'll hold our breath until
Yeah,
then.
please do. Remind
All
me.
right, so I enjoyed watching it again. I'm giving it 3.25. It's a fun little thriller, and of course, Walter Matthau is da bomb. Now, Annie, you said you watched all three.
I did. We
So
watched
there was a
all-
TV movie. I don't know what year it was.
1998,
98, and then Denzel did it in 2009.
9.
And Travolta.
Yeah.
Travolta was the criminal.
Yeah.
He was
He
short.
was Mr. Blue.
Purple.
They
Actually,
didn't use name. They
They-
didn't use colors.
yeah, they used his actual name from the book, which is Ryder.
Right, because Peter
Yeah.
Stone made that up.
Yeah.
All
He
right,
was
so
riding, he
watching.
was riding the subway.
Yes, sure.
So watching all three, Annie, what did
Was
you
it
think?
fun? Well, I've seen the first one before,
Yeah,
and it was just as fun. There's so many great lines. The best things to see are like 70s New York.
yeah,
And we thought like the phones and the candy machines in the subway station, love those. That there's no more BMT, IRT.
right,
There's no
right.
three.
Being native New Yorkers, we can
Yeah.
appreciate.
And the accents of all the New Yorkers were just so great. It was like they were so
Spot
New
on.
York. Yeah,
Spot on,
so
yeah.
good. And the black and white cop cars, you know,
They're blue now, right?
yeah.
They're white now with just a little blue, and they
Mm.
changed that years ago because it cost too much to paint them blue, so they just made them white.
Left them white.
Yeah.
But yes, no, like you said, it was great acting. It was fun. It was a fun movie to watch. In 1998, though, it was much grittier. And they had one of the bad guys was a girl, and they had much more invested in the conductor. Like they featured her a lot more and made her a bigger part so that when she gets, spoiler alert, shot, you kind of like
Feel it more.
like, whereas in the first one they didn't.
Yeah, no, he
Yeah.
doesn't have a bigger part. Yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like, like they didn't explain the Pelham 1, 2, 3 in the second one, and they didn't have as much like that little conversation in the beginning with the conductor when he was learning his stuff,
Right.
everything. So, and the chase was kind of shortened. It wasn't as big a chase and everything.
But the car still crashed, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they still crashed. So, yeah. So, I mean, it was okay. It was, just a little different. And I guess if I hadn't seen the first one, this one would have been fine too. But the first one is so much better. And then in 2009,
Wait, isn't this the first one?
No. She's talking about the TV movie now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Then now she's gonna talk about Denzel.
Okay, sorry.
yeah. Well, the 1998 one was also like much grittier, like the filming of it, like things I noticed actually that I never do. But like the black and white, the slowing and stuff like that. So
Right.
yeah.
And just so you know, part of what you were watching had nothing to do with the way it was filmed. It's the way it's been transferred to video.
I thought you said it was a TV movie.
It's a TV movie. It's
So
still,
why,
well, because when it was transferred, even if it was shot on film, it got transferred to home video in a horrible fashion.
so you've seen it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I also watched all three versions.
Of
It's
course.
of course. Why wouldn't I? It's the film transfer is just poorly done. So
Okay.
that grittiness that you're talking about is actually a bad transfer of a film that should look a lot clearer, because you're seeing things that like the white in the background is actually starting to break up because the transfer is so horrible. It's not that it was shot that way.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
And you keep using the term gritty, and my attitude is, well, gritty describes the New York City subway station in 1974. It does not describe the Toronto stations in 1998, which is obviously where it's shot, because I'm watching it going, that is the cleanest New York subway system in the world.
Yeah. No, I think I mentioned that, like, where's the graffiti, but yeah.
Well, did they update it to 1998? It wasn't the 70s anymore.
No, it was 1998. They changed
They changed the time also.
The time?
You mean the
Like
time?
it wasn't an hour?
It was an hour, but they started it at like 3:00 or like at 2, and they had until 3:10 instead of
something like that.
Yeah,
and it was $5 million instead of $1 million.
Well, sure.
That I understand.
Up the ante, of course.
And technology-wise, the criminals had motion detectors that put into the tunnel.
Oh, nice.
All right, so then Denzel comes along.
Yeah, so in 2009 there was a lot more violence, and
Wait,
then
so who's Denzel in the new movie?
Matthau.
Walter Matthau.
But also, I think he's an amalgamation of Mathau and Dakowitz. He's not a cop. Isn't he a train conductor? He's like in charge.
Uh,
Like an executive, like,
He works for the Port Authority, I think, as opposed to
Right.
being a cop.
Yes.
He's an
Yes, correct.
amalgamation
He's
of
not,
a
he
couple
is not a
characters.
cop. Well, but here's the part of the problem is that Walter Matthau's character doesn't really exist in the book. So Matthau's character was kind of created out of several characters. The book is actually told from the point of view of almost every character that appears. So like it's each one of the criminals, each one of the passengers that wind up in the car, the conductor, the motorman, the
I like
So
that.
this is an 800-page book?
no, it
Very
actually
nice.
isn't. It moves pretty quickly. But part of the fun of the book is any one of those characters like can disappear and never be seen again or
Right.
heard
And
from
they
again.
just tell their part of the story chronologically, I assume.
Correct. Yes.
That's
So
fun.
somebody just picks up the next chapter.
Yeah, and it's a fascinating book, and I understand why the book specifically, captured readers' imaginations, but also captured the imagination of film producers even before it was published.
So then Denzel in this third movie, is it closer to the book?
Again, he's another amalgamation of characters, but different characters per se, because there's
Okay.
no
All
cop.
right, so yeah,
He's
So,
not like the guy in the red vest who died was constantly like, "What the fuck? Where's this guy? What the fuck? Fuck! 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 Fuck!" This
Right.
Denzel is much more calm and
Yes.
cool.
because he's Denzel.
He's Denzel.
All right, so it was
Okay.
more violent. Annie, go ahead.
and definitely they did, much more between Travolta and Denzel, the
Sure.
relationship and how it evolved and everything. And then the Ramos dies. That's why they had to get Denzel down there to deliver the money and stuff, to like run the train and stuff, because the one, like in the first one, the guy who ran the train, he went home and then was caught. But in this one, they shot him and he died. So they had to get Denzel down to the train to run the train.
Oh right.
And so it was different. It was definitely different than the first one for sure. And at one point, as the train's speeding by, Danny's like, "Oh, it just went by Shea Stadium. There's so many they're supposed to be going."
That's funny.
They took a
Yeah.
detour.
Yes. So yeah, it was
That
just
was fun too. I'm sorry, I'm sidetracking here, but seeing the inner workings of the train and the little dots going along on the lit up board like it was a light bright, it was so cute.
yes. It was nice to see the room evolve from the 70s
Right.
yeah, see that, yeah. But it was just different, the 2009 one, a lot different.
Right.
Yeah, they all
And
died.
so this was your favorite of
The first one, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Just the great lines and everything and the acting and everything. The first one, definitely. And John Travolta just curses his way through the entire movie.
Lazy writing.
That's what I thought.
you didn't give a star rating.
3.25.
All right.
Oh, that's the most I've ever spoken for all you want.
Oh, it's also the most you've ever been interrupted.
Are you exhausted now?
Yes.
It's exhausting to talk so much. Not for me, because I'm trained.
That's funny.
Joel, speaking of talking too much.
Yes. Oh yeah, we're dead.
So you watched all three too, also.
Yes. Yes,
And?
I did. And
Anything to add to that, which you haven't already added?
I will do this as quickly as I can. I love
That's what he says to Natasha.
exactly all the time.
I will do this as quickly as I can.
I'll get this over with so you're not in as much pain.
Lord.
I love the first film. The original movie from 1974 is a great movie. It has become a great timepiece of capturing what New York was like in the 70s.
And what action movies were like in the 70s.
Yeah, and it sits up there with some of the greatest films ever made in my book. There is almost nothing wrong with it. Even looking back and saying, there's some, politically incorrect stuff, or some things are dated. All of it's not in the bad way you think of things being dated to me. They
right, because it's all in context. It's all in context.
Yeah. So I love this movie. And I've seen the both remakes before, but it had been a while since I'd seen either of them. And again, it's also been a while since I had read the book, and I wanted to do that. And I apologize for not getting my homework done in time. But
you get a D-.
Yeah, the remake is problematic to me because it has a great cast.
Which one? The Denzel?
No, the TV movie.
TV movie.
The TV movie, because you've got Edward James Olmos and Lorraine Bracco kind of splitting the Walter Matthau and Jerry Stiller roles a little bit. And, terrorist wise, aside from the woman that replaces Earl Hindman, and I don't know her name because I don't think she did anything else after that. You've got Vincent D'Onofrio in the Robert Shaw role. You've got Donnie Wahlberg in the
Hector
Elizondo role, and you've got Richard
Glassman.
Dr. Glassman, Richard Schiff in the Martin Balsam role. So you've got this great cast that is stuck in.
Yeah.
They adapted Peter Stone's screenplay. I mean, that's literally what the credits say. Adapted from the Peter Stone screenplay based on the book by John Gotti, and it's and that's Godey, not Gotti. But it's almost beat for beat, except for the fact, all right, we're updating these things to 1998. And
well, I'd say what Amy said. Talk about your lazy writing.
Yeah, it is very lazy writing, and there are times where like you can see Vincent D'Onofrio trying to give this amazing performance, and he's stuck with this mediocre script at this point. And it's
Joel, it sounds like you're saying Edward James almost got it right.
No, they didn't even come close. And the fact that it's Toronto, they shot it in Toronto. It's obvious they shot it in Toronto. It looks nothing like New York. Nothing at all. And it's like, what universe does this exist in? It's like, it's part of the MCU on a different, plane. The 2009 remake with Denzel Washington and John Travolta is a great movie for 2/3 of the movie, because it's literally just the two of them having this amazing back and forth conversation. And yes, John Travolta is swearing up and down constantly, and it does get a little annoying, but it's wrapped up in this 80s, 90s Tony Scott vibe since he directed it. That's got this slickness to it that works beautifully. Once they get off the train, the movie goes to hell. It becomes, wow, you really had nowhere to go with this one, and you're just ending it here. Okay.
Even though they had the blueprint.
Yeah, they have the blueprint from the original, but they decided they changed enough to make it interesting, but once they got off the train, it was just no longer interesting. It just loses it.
Hold on, I gotta say that I felt that this movie too, I thought it would have ended. I was surprised that it was kind of anticlimactic, that it kind of ended and then it kept going to get the guy in his apartment as well.
But that's not anticlimactic. That's following it through to the end. You just like, okay, we've been trying to get these 4 guys. Well, we got 3 of them. We have the 4th.
I agree, but the energy level came down quite a bit.
Oh, the energy level does come down, but it's not anticlimactic because
it's what we call in literature the denouement.
Right. You still got the tension of, hey, is this guy, and we know
we know
that, but are they going to figure that out? And obviously, or how they're going to figure that out, that's still there. There's no mystery once Denzel and John Travolta are off the train and above ground and doing stuff.
But I see what Mark is saying. Even in this version, there could have been less finding him and less to that scene.
Yeah,
could've.
maybe a little bit, but not by
Yeah.
much. So
Yeah.
anyway,
All right, so Joel, get to
yes.
the movie at hand.
Yes, the movie at hand.
1974, a movie that you love.
Yes, I am actually going to be very controversial and give it 3.9 stars.
Ah,
Wow.
that is
3.9? This
Yeah.
is a 3.9?
Yes, it is. I have seen this movie more times than I care to count. I love this movie.
One,
I can-
two,
Yeah,
three.
no, yeah, I don't want to count. Literally,
117?
we actually saw this last year because Dave had seen it years ago, and for some reason he was like, "Oh, Sue's never seen this. We have to show this to Sue. Do you have this movie?" I said, "Do I have this movie? Of course I fucking have this movie." And we watched it about a year ago with the Ellens, and they loved it. And when it came time to watch it again, they were like, "No, we don't need to do that." But
I officially no longer like the Ellens.
We just watched it like a few months back.
Yeah, I watched it last year.
I did too for some reason. I don't know why I put it on my
I don't know why
list.
either. I don't know why I watched it last year, but I did.
Yeah.
All right, so Mr. Colorblind.
Before I go to my notes, I'll just start by saying that, yeah, I've seen the Denzel version twice, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't remember I guess I don't remember it enough because I don't remember the last 1/3 that you were talking about, Joel, where it kind of went off the rails, literally.
Yes.
But I remember liking it. I definitely liked it more than this version. However, I will give it, so it's my first time watching this version. Now we'll go to my notes. I thought, and I wrote this just in order. I watched it finally last night, so it was a little bit late. But I thought it was fantastic protocol at the beginning of the movie with the trains when the conductor was learning how to look out the window and this and that. I don't think they do that anymore. That's all I'm going to say as a New Yorker. I feel like things were set up better and more specific way back 40 years ago, 50 years ago. When they first took out their guns and Shaw said they'd shoot anyone who stood up, several people started laughing. As a New Yorker on a train, you're not laughing at that. You know it's serious. Did you not? Did anybody else catch that?
Not here's the thing is we're living in a post 9/11 world.
Yeah.
They were not.
Yeah.
I lived in New York City before 9/11 too, and that I don't feel like any New Yorker would have just.
1974.
I think some part of it would have been, is he kidding? What's going on now? I don't know how serious he would have taken it.
Yeah.
The subway supervisor. Oh, the subway supervisor in red, Dakowitz, the one who got shot. I thought we both thought he was great. He was a true New Yorker, just walking in. I loved how he walked in, cursing, sat down, and looked at the board, and right away was like, "What's that?" He literally, if you catch that, he literally knew the board something was wrong right away, which I thought was great. I noticed that the mayor had a remote control in 1974.
Yeah,
I grew up.
He's the mayor.
But I grew up in the 80s. 80s, the kids were the remote control. So in 1974, that was huge, high-tech stuff. I appreciated that.
And you could hear when he hit a button, it made a very loud click.
Well, I was just
Frank,
I was just gonna say that's why they called him the clicker, because it really did click.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We already talked about the Japanese guys. I know you guys mentioned before some of the accents and some of the shots of New York were absolutely fantastic, very, very New York. Some of them were just over the top. The woman who introduced the Japanese guys, oh, here we go. That was grating and annoying.
But they do exist.
Like a New Yorker could be.
Yeah, they do exist.
And I'll just skip to the end there. I almost wanted Mr. Green to get away at the end. I liked him. He was a relatable character. And so when they caught him, so when they came to his apartment, I saw it coming a mile away with the sneeze. So it was a little anticlimactic again, sorry to me, because I saw it. I knew it was going to happen. They're going to show up, and as soon as they came there, he's going to sneeze before they leave. I didn't love that part, but I did appreciate Walter Matthau leaning in like that. That was great with his face. For me, it's 2.7.
But didn't you also love how horrible Martin Balsam's hair looked at the beginning of the scene? I was like, dude.
When he first showed up, I thought he reminded me of Bill Murray's brother, the short guy, who is the boss.
Brian Doyle Murray.
Right.
Yes. He looked just like him. And I was like, that mustache is so, you could tell right away. Those mustaches were so fake.
Oh, in one of his first scenes, he sneezed and you could see him going like this, putting the mustache back.
Yeah. Anyway, 2.75 for me. I didn't hate it at all. I just some of it was just a little bit too dated, and I do admit anything before 1980, I really have to kind of love it to like it, if that makes any sense. So it was a little too dated
yeah,
for me.
we know, Mark, you're not as mature and sophisticated as you make yourself out to be.
I agree. I was almost going to say that myself.
I just wanted, yeah, the one other thing, when he put all the money in the oven, it was like Bugs Bunny to me. He's not in here.
Would I hide my friend in the stove?
I was
Wait,
waiting for somebody. I was
Travis,
waiting for the
you
cop.
might.
I was waiting for them to turn on the stove or something like that. Yeah.
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 That was so cute that he went to, no, it gives me a problem. Let me do it for you.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't get any Bugs Bunny references, but I'm sure that was funny.
The best one.
But wait a minute. No, I did think that was pretty silly because, I mean, turning on did he think he was going to turn on the oven?
Yeah.
Even if he turned on the oven, it wouldn't burn up the money in 5
Right.
seconds.
Right.
It was a little ridiculous. All right, Aim, you picked it.
Well, I mean, it was as ridiculous as thinking just because you disable the dead man's thing, all of a sudden the train is going to start flying. That to me was killing me. Like, somebody's got to stop this train. It's ridiculous.
But they couldn't get in the conductor's booth.
But gravity or whatever the scientific word I'm trying to think of would have stopped that train.
They needed Spider-Man to come in and stop it.
Yeah.
Did the Spider-Man too?
Yeah. One thing I love about this movie is that it runs an hour and 45 minutes and there's no time wasted. There was never a moment where I went, oh my God, we still have an hour to go. It was like, oh my God, it's almost over.
It runs almost in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. So it just felt perfect in terms of timing. And the only note I wrote besides loving Walter Matthau and the Japanese guys and everything, I just knew it would be a great script as soon as the new conductor announced 59th Street instead of 51st Street and then apologized. It's such an unnecessary thing to even put into the script. And to me, it's just so real that he just made a mistake and they wrote and filmed that. I love that. I thought we're in for a really good script. And also I love him.
Wait. When was the last time you saw it, you said?
Last year.
Last year. So this was your thoughts from last year.
Pretty much, yeah.
Does she
Or
really
the first
remember
time
her
I saw
thoughts
it.
from last year?
What?
I said, do you remember your thoughts from last year?
I don't remember my thoughts from last night.
Exactly.
And also when the conductor said that people don't like getting off in the middle of a tunnel. I love that line. There was just so many good lines. I wasn't going to sit and retype them all. I said that there was something else, Joel, when you said I thought of, I had to say, and I don't remember because I'm an idiot and I should have written it down. Yeah, I got nothing. 3 3/4 stars.
I will say this to give it more is that while I didn't like the first half hour, it was a little bit too much, whatever. But I will the actual part while they're constantly what's his name is calling, they're calling and checking in, and he's not giving them any, like, no, you're not getting any extra minutes. It was very much. It was tense. I was watching. It was a thriller. It was very suspenseful. I did enjoy it, and I did not know how they were going to get off, and I appreciated. I was like, what are they building? Are they going to build a bomb? I was they going to blow it up? I didn't know what they were going to do. So the fact that they built that little rail on top of it to get them moving and then sneak off there, I did find very inventive, and I appreciated that.
Yeah. And then when the cop jumped off the back and they were like, wait a minute, what was that? It was very like, oh my God. And I just remember what I was going to say was to me, it was surprisingly, I think, progressive for 1974, having a couple of cops pretty high up were black guys, which you wouldn't expect.
And yep, 100%.
And you would in real life, perhaps, but to even show it in a movie, and also to they multiple times said they don't know if the cop on the train, undercover cop, is a man or a woman. I was like, wow.
100% agreed. 100% agreed.
In the TV movie remake, the cop on the train is a woman.
I was going to say, of course, today it would be a woman.
It would have been the drunk woman.
Yeah, damn it. Oh, and the mother, I just hated her. I looked her up. She did like a couple of things, but the overly dramatic, she was killing me. That 50-year-old mother of a 3-year-old.
Everybody looked 50 in the 70s. Come on.
Yeah.
Did you all watch the Denzel one?
I had seen it when I think when it came out. I meant to watch it yesterday, and then I ended up going out, surprisingly. So maybe I'll watch it today. But I do remember seeing it and not liking it nearly as much.
It's not as, I mean, I would give the Denzel version 3 stars tops, and that's an iffy 3 stars, just because
The
the
generous 3 stars.
yeah, it's a generous 3 stars. The last third of the film just annoys me. And the TV movie remake, I would give maybe 2.25. Just
Mark, since you like the Denzel version better, what would you give it?
It's been a while since I watched it, so it's not really fair, but I would say 3 stars, just like Joel just said, but I gave this one 2.75, so I did like it better. But I don't remember the ending being so bad, so maybe if I rewatched it right now, I would change it. I don't know.
And he's seen it twice. I think he has amyitis.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's it for taking.
I want to mention one more quick thing. Just
Damn it.
trivia.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
it's been on my brain.
Yeah.
Obviously the characters or the criminals are all named color codes. But did you catch some of their real names, specifically Hector Elizondo's character? They do mention all of their real names because obviously they're searching for Martin Balsam by his real name.
Right.
Is Hector Elizondo's character is Giuseppe Bienvenuto.
Wow.
Joe Goodview.
No, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Then it's Joe Welcome.
Well, Joe, welcome. Yes, bienvenido.
Bienvenue.
And that also reminded me just of another thing that I loved was how early on Walter Matthau's character said we have to find a disgruntled former train conductor or a
Right
motorman.
away. Yeah.
So clever.
Yeah, because he totally was like, who else can drive this train? You have to know how to do it.
Right. And then when they found so many, like 90 of them, but 27 of this, 15 of that. So there's 9 left. That was great too.
That's the fugitive right there.
Yeah.
The fugitive, they did the same thing.
Yeah.
One-armed
The
criminals.
only thing I remember from The Fugitive, and I'm actually watching it this week, is I didn't kill her. I don't care.
Yes, yes.
Can I take it off my
I
list then?
don't
Because
care.
that's on my list for next year.
No, I would totally watch that.
Why would you take it off your list just because Frank's watching it this week?
We can make him watch it twice.
I'll make my notes now and just
take your notes now.
Fine.
File it away. You must have a great file of notes.
Do you want it?
Do you throw it out or do you keep them?
No, I have every single one.
Nice file, Frank.
I need to make a book.
Yes.
Like anybody would care. All right. Are we done now, Joel?
Yeah, I'm done. I got nothing else.
Okay. Taking a Pelham 123 is not on a streaming service, our usual, but you can watch it on Hoopla.
Blah.
Or Canopy with a K.
Annie, we got it
Canopy
off.
with a K, which are services provided by your local library, if they do. So that's good. Next week, Mark picked Beautiful Girls from 1996. 6.
Oh, 6. Okay.
Also not streaming anywhere, not on Hoopla, so you gotta rent it.
Fuck.
I remember I saw this movie. Okay, that's it. I'm Frank Gaffney. Go watch a movie.
And also with you.